them they'd be happy. You didn't tell them that would be like people would be bouncing off the walls. They had to be Beis Hamikdash. Shabbos, Kodesh, is an insidious of the Yid enters the presence of Hashem, can experience the presence of Hashem. Shalashugas is, the Chayz said that Shabbos Shuvas, the whole Shabbos is together, Rava the Rava. That matzah of Shalashugas, Shabbos Chazayin, if you want just the Pshat, I'll just tell the Pshat in this past Shabbos we have Ayin the Chayz of Reuven. He said that Shabbos Shuvas, by the Rebbes, it was the biggest Shabbos Chazayin, excuse me, it was the biggest Shabbos of the year. By the Rebbes, Shabbos Chazayin is, what's Pshat? Shabbos Chazayin, the Shabbos contains the events of the week. Whatever, Shabbos Shuvah is not called Shabbos Shuvah, it's the Shabbos before we do Shuvah. It means everything. Shabbos is Mikar HaBracha. So whatever happens during the week exists in Shabbos. Somebody's making a chas in the middle of the Vach, he gets an aliyah on Shabbos, because on Shabbos, whatever happens, it has its roots in Shabbos Kodesh. And Shabbos Chazayin was holy because it's the Shabbos of Tisha B'Av and contains Tisha B'Av in it. And in the Oifen Pnimi, it's the holy Shabbos. And Shabbos Shabbos peels away the layers. Shabbos peels off the klipa. When we say peel the klipa, that's what Shabbos does. Is that space of truth? Is that space where a Yid is precious? Is that space that a Yid is wanted by Hashem? Is that space that a Yid sits and prays another Yid? That's the space called Shabbos. This Kinnah that we're about to read is the story of all the Kinnas and all our Galus. And it's the story of a Yid's preciousness and a Yid's always Shaykh to Hashem, always Shaykh to Hashem. Yoshiyahu's grandfather was Menashe, was a Rasha. A Rasha put in the Kodesh HaKadoshim Avodah Zarah. In the most pneumistic of places, he was kaifer. He was a Rasha Menashe. Now he did some tshuva, and it matters that he did tshuva. It matters. It's part of the story of this Kinnah. This Rasha Azoy Vayt, so far the Kodesh Kadoshim, in the most pneumistic of place, he had no shaykhs Avodah Zarah. In the most pneumistic of place. By Shalosh Shudas, he wasn't shaykh. You didn't nefesh Menashe. The Kodesh HaKadoshim that was spirit. Couldn't say you did nefesh. He did tshuva b'Seif Yamav. His son was Vayter in Russia. And then his grandson was Yoshiyahu. And Yoshiyahu sees a pasuk that ignites his heart. He grew up the son of a Russia. And he sees a pasuk that ignites his heart. He sees a pasuk in the Torah that says, Baruch Asher Yakim es divrei HaTorah Azois. And one pasuk, one verse, one Yid learns one pasuk and changes the world. One Yid, one Seder, somebody would observe, he studied a verse in the Bible in the Torah HaKadosh. One Yid studied one pasuk and our whole nation changed. He read the pasuk, he opened up the Chumash was open, and the pasuk, he saw a pasuk, Baruch Asher Yakim es divrei HaTorah Azois. What probably hit Yoshiyahu is that a Yid has shaykhs to uphold the Torah. A Yid has the possibility to uphold the Torah. I like watching Hagbah. Even we have beautiful, the Torah is not, this Torah is like written in small. I love Hagbah. Hagbah's beautiful. This Torah gives more people the possibility of doing Hagbah. You don't have to be a big workout buff to do Hagbah. We have here a smaller Sefer Torah. But Hagbah's beautiful. On that pasuk that changed Yoshiyahu's life, that it says, Baruch HaGever, blessed is the person, Asher Yaakov es divrei HaTorah Azois, that Hashem gives the possibility of the Yid to hold the Torah and to teach the Torah, and to share the Torah. That a Yid has shaykhs to teach the Torah, to learn the Torah. A Yid can hold the Torah and show the Torah. The Ramban says that the minute Yisrael that we do a 360, either a 360, Yeshiva, our minute is a 360. Go all around and understand what you're doing and watch the guy that if you're strong enough to hold the Torah, show it to everybody and show. Share it what you know. Share what you have. Give over to the next one. Baruch Asher Yakim es divrei Torah azos. And Chas v'Shalom, don't exclude any Yid. Every Yid has shaykhs. Don't say the back section there, they're talking, I'm not showing. Turn around and show it to everybody in shul. Show it to everybody and understand what you're doing. You're saying to Kol Yisrael, every direction, every corner. The guy in the back who's not even wearing tefillin. The guy in the back who Mamish just walked in to find out what time the basketball game, when the volleyball tournament's happening. Show him the Torah too, show it. Don't miss a person in the shul. Go around and turn around. We're Zeicha, we're in the shul now, where many Yidden who never entered shul in their lives have entered. Show him the Torah. Lift it up and show the Torah. Baruch HaGever, blessed is the person Asher Yakim as divrei Torah azos. Torah belongs to Am Yisrael, and everybody has an opportunity and an achrayus to hold the Torah and show the Torah. And Yeshayahu is the son of a Rasha, the grandson of Menashe, who had Avodah Zarah and the Kodesh Kodashim. And yet he saw a pasuk, and it changed his life. The pasuk, it's Pasha. People ask, like they're learning with an unaffiliated, what should I learn? Learn any single part of the Torah. You don't know his neshama. There might be a Mishnah in Oxen that'll read it and will cause, not he'll just become a God Ladar. He probably will be a Shiol and bring all the Klal Yisrael back, likely, God is likely. He's learning with you, he sat down to learn, it's likely. It's probable. Mistama, Titus says, it's not Nailad, he came to learn. He's there to learn. Mistama will be a Shiol. He's a Yid, part of the Am Yisrael, the nation of Hashem, the Am Hashem. So Yeshua, what should you learn? I don't know. Find a Mishnah somewhere. A good Mishnah in Oxen would be great. Maybe in Yavamas take a Mishnah somewhere. Open up any Mishnah. Learn with him and study and just learn what it says. Yeshua saw a pasuk, a verse in the Torah, and it said, "Baruch Asher Yakim es divrei Torah." As I said, in Arash Allah Yakim. That there's an achrayus for a Yid, a possibility for a Yid to uphold Torah, and it went into his soul, and he rallied, a rallying cry of Aleinu L'Hakim. It's on us to be making divrei Torah. And he led it show the movement, Mimais Avigdor. We're going to say in this kinna from the days of Moshe Rabbeinu, there wasn't such a children movement in all of Klal. Like Kamai, Mimais Avigdor, from the days of Avigdor was Moshe Rabbeinu, Avigdor, the one who made Gedarim. And Mimais Avigdor, there wasn't such a tzaddik, such a leader, such a person who led such a revolution of Tshuva. And Klal Yisrael was Chayzer b'Tshuva. And the lesson of the Kinna doesn't speak about, it's not the pneumius of the Kinna, it's not like the last hope of Bayis Rishon. The pneumius of the Kinna is the eternal hope of our people. The truth of the beauty of Galus. The Kinna is not speaking, shucks, it didn't work. It worked and it works. Yes, there's what yet to do. I want to study, this Kinna studies a chet. It's not so common that we're like, Asrei Yish Mechaseh Bishop, he's supposed to cover Chaton. This Kinna, Yirmiyah, the Navi, he knows the halacha. I'm not worried to read it. It speaks about Yoshia's chet, his Aveira, and his last words of his life. He admitted, Tzaddiku Hashem, Hashem is right about our difficulties. Ki marisi piyu, I rebelled. The last words of his life. And Yirmiyah the Navi, when they were killing Yoshiyahu, what happened? What was his chet? What's the story? Yeshio led a tshuva movement, and Klal Yisrael was on fire. Yidden were beautiful and serving Hashem between us with sincerity. And Yeshio held that we have such madregas of tzidkus, of kesher to Hashem. The pasuk promises. The pasuk says that Cherev lesaver b'artzachem. When we're serving Hashem, not only won't we be attacked, but a sword won't go through our land. It's impossible that churban, that any sort of destruction will even be shaykh to us. Two countries who are fighting can't use Eretz Yisrael to attack each other. Cherev lesaver b'artzachem. That would be when Klal Yisrael is serving Hashem. And Yeshio's Averis, he believes so stark in Klal Yisrael's perfection, in Klal Yisrael's Madrega, he held that should apply. Nobody could pass through Eretz Yisrael with a sword. And Paray Nechei, the lame Paray, who wanted to fight Assyria, no shaykhs to us, good, fight, whatever they do. Paray wanted to fight. And he wanted to pass, and he asked Yeshio, can I come through Eretz Yisrael as a city, as just a corridor to get where I want to get to? And Yeshio's Aveira and the Navi didn't listen to the Navi. And we have to listen to the Nevi'im, to Talmid Chachamim, of course. And it's an Aveira, and it's a chet, and Galus, we're here, we have work to do. We have work to do, and Yeshio is chet, that he thought Klal Yisrael was on such a madrega that prophecy, that promise of Cherev lesaver b'artzachem should apply. And he didn't let Paray Nechei through Eretz. He said, no way, you're not coming to Eretz Yisrael. Chil Hashem. Am Yisrael was on such a madrega just to use Eretz Yisrael for any type of Cherev, any type of sword. No way. And he didn't let Paray Nechei come through, and the Navi told him that there are sins. There are things you don't know about behind closed doors. There are still sins in Klal Yisrael. And this kina we're going to say describes chetz acher chetz moyer melochsim. They shot arrow after arrow, piercing the body of Yeshio. So they trapped him. B'samul k'matara. They made him like a matara, like a destination, like a. When you shoot the target, thank you. They made him a target, lachitzim. He was target for their arrows. And they shot at Yeshio 300 arrows. Kalim, the swift one, is the Navi, the Zaras. Kalim, Hitu Achra, the Navi, ran up to Yeshio to spend a few more moments with his Tzaddik. Ezra Loitzi Pil, he wanted one more conversation with the Tzaddik. He wanted to hear Loitzi Pil, he wanted to hear what the Tzaddik, the final moments of Tzaddikim. It's always the Batischak L'yoyim Achra, the moments of Tzaddikim, the final moments. I always learned from Yirmiyahu that the best part of the Bible books is the day of their death. Those final moments, beautiful moments, eternity. And Yirmiyahu, the Navi, ran to Yeshio to speak a few more seconds with the Tzaddik. Before Trias HaMesim will be his last chance till Trias HaMesim to speak and to fabrei with the Tzaddik. Kalim, so the swift, the smart one, ran to Yeshio Chaparayim. He took Achrav Ezra, he hearkened his ear, he leaned over his ear to hear Moitzi Piyu, what Yeshio would say. V'ad mitzui nefesh, and until his soul departed, Ma'asav Efiyu, his actions adorned him. Art Scroll would translate Ma'asav Efiyu. Ruach Sfas of Hifsam Epiyu, and he belted out words from his mouth. And his final words were Tzaddiku Hashem. Hashem is righteous. Imarisi Fiyu. I yet have work to do. We're not there yet. There's work yet to do. The story of our Golus is not 2,000 years of failure. It's 2,000 years of beauty. The story of our lives. It's sheker. It's a wrong pshat. A person says the story's like, I haven't done it yet, There's work to do is beautiful. There's Kiddush Shamayim yet to make Tzaddiku Hashem. We yet have work to do. But the story of Galus, the story is the beautiful Yid who's close to Hashem, who in a second, one pasuk could spark a Yid and God's Klal Yisrael to Tshuva. That's our story. This is our story. This is the oldest Kenna. This is my story. This is your story. It's our story. The story of the people who are close to Hashem, who are shaykh to Torah, who are shaykh to uphold Torah, who are shaykh in one pasuk to start a revolution of Torah, of honesty, of sincerity. We're on the floor now. We recently lost a precious person in our Chabura, Ray Oberlander. Ray Oberlander came to Waterbury as a bacher. Shidduchim were going hard. And he came to Waterbury. He was living in somebody's house. That can't be easy. That's a Kalish. He was living in a friend's. He had gone to different yeshiva. He was steiging, big masmid of Ben Titus. And Shidduchim were going hard, and he was living in Rabbi Levine's house, and he came to Waterbury. In a complete nace, but it's the story of our people. He started a yeshiva, he started Yehuda Deutsches, here's a Talmud Muvak of Rabbi Oberlander. Avi Epstein's, here's a Talmud Muvak of Rabbi Oberlander. It just sparked up a movement. Dozens of mishpachos, loyalists to Hashem. A beautiful movement of loyalty to Hashem like sparked up. If anybody studies people, if you see a society that people are jobless, my wife and I traveled to a beautiful Tayyardik community. We were blown away by the Yidden of South Africa. We lost our minds. Sadiq and big people, a city of tzidkus. And by the Goyim there, by the Tzelem Elokim, precious Goyim, there's no jobs, there's no parnasa. People are begging. The percentage of joblessness is of poverty. And anybody who studies human beings knows that if they're 80%, 70% of people have no parnasa, it is a right, it's frightening. All the Yidden should be saved till Mashiach comes and they'll be saved. The Yidden are precious. But a society that people are jobless, one Meshugana can come and cause a revolution like this. That's right for a person to stand up. If people have nothing to lose, it's dangerous. So there are environments that are ripe for revolution, and any studier of people can see, and there the Yidden will be safe until Mashiach comes. But there's a situation, and anybody who is sensitive understands that. The same way there's an environment that's ripe for a revolution, Yidden are always, every group of Yidden were always a second, a pasuk away from Kirvus Hashem, always. Whether we're 10, 20, 50, 80, no matter what we look, what we're dressing, we're always one pasuk away from a revolution from Kirvus Hashem. Such is a Yid. That's an environment. That's a Yid. Find any Yiddish community. I was going out with my wife. She said, "What do you want to do with your life?" "I want to go to Cincinnati and become frum with all the Yidden there." Find a place of Yidden. They're always right. It's always like it's not a chiddush. What should you do? Learn a pasuk with a Yid. Read a pasuk, read a Mishnah and Oxen. But Yid is the Am Hashem. There's a Nishmas Yisrael. It's never a chiddush. And the story of our people is a beautiful story of loyalty to Hashem. We're not sitting on the floor as a story of a failed people. We're the people of Yeshayahu, the oldest Kinnah, the successful, beautiful. The Navi declares on this Kinnah, the earliest Kinnah that we say is a window into what's happening. And the Navi says about Yeshayahu that till his last second, Amitzui Nefesh Ma'isa B'Fiyu. It's the story of a beautiful people. It's the story of Rabbi Oberlander, a beautiful Yid who in midst of a difficult situation, it turns into a revolution for Hashem. It turns into hundreds of mishpachos loyally serving Hashem. That's the story of the loyal Yid, who's been loyal. I always think about my Oma on Tisha B'Av, always about my Oma. The story of the loyal one, 16 years old, lost her tata, her mama, and her mishpacha, killed by the Nazis. And she was loyal to Hashem and built a beautiful family. It's a story of those that Am Hashem, the loyal Am Hashem. We're not there yet. We're on the floor because Tzaddiku Hashem, Marisi Fiyu, we have work to do. We have Sinas Chinam yet to fix. We have areas yet to improve, most certainly. And Aleinu Lahakim, and improve it we will. Aleinu Lahakim, improve it we will. But it's the story of a beautiful people. And we'll read this kinna now, this kinna of Yeshayahu. We'll read the kinna of Yeshayahu, the beautiful Yid, who any external chitzoni, a person who wouldn't know what Shabbos Chazayin is, would say, what's the hope of this guy? Grandfather Russia, father Russia, he's really distant. One pasuk changes our entire people. And from the great leaders, from the great tzaddikim of our nation, is the job finished? No. Is there work to be done? Yes. Is there hopes and aspirations and dreams for more? Yes. Is there averis we have to be misakin? Yes. Is there sinas chinam that yet has to be fixed up? Yes. But it's the people that are shaykh to it. That's this kinna. So feel the kinna, read the kinna. If you want, spend the rest. You're not meshupit us. Read this kinna and spend the day contemplating Yeshio and our beautiful people. And yes, our flaws that aren't perfect. And yes, emunas chachamim, that we have to listen to chachamim. Hear what they're telling us. appropriate at this time when we're talking about Yeshio. And in our Chabura, we lost a person, a leader, a wonderful Eved Hashem, the Shabbos year, the Yidu taught us and brought us to Shabbos Kalish. Shabbos says by Rayom, the Rabbi Yassin, Shabbos says, the Leil Shabbos by Rayom was different. And I thought that in mourning the loss of the Yeshios, and the great loss of the Yeshios is the sense Yeshios had, was thinking Am Yisrael was perfect. What a beautiful sin. That's a sin we're not keeping quiet. Asher's Mechas Pisha, there's a sin that will fire the beauty of our people. And in mourning the loss of Yeshio, the loss of that sense of the beauty of our people, of how close our people, is also a time we can mourn the loss of somebody who rallied many dozens and dozens, hundreds of years to serve Hashem, the Shvuas of Rayovlin, the Shvuas that he would have. Kina Tes Zayin is the next kina we're going to read. Zechar Sha'asit Tzaddik. It's Kina Tes Zayin, and it speaks about the story of Titus. This Rasha who taunted Am Yisrael, who cursed Klape Mala, who cursed Hashem, cursed Klape Mala, and he taunted Am Yisrael, the nation of Hashem. And he said about Am Yisrael, Ayeh Elohim, where's your God? He said that Am Yisrael, go through difficulty, you're lost, Ayeh Elohim, where's your God? Where is he now? Look at you. You're lost. Sor Chasubay, the rock that you leaned on, that you tried, that you cared so hard, that you want so badly to connect, where is he now? Look at you. He said in our destruction, he taunted us. He said, is God really with you? You the people of Hashem? Kirvis Hashem? Ayeh Elohim? Where is he now? The Gemara in Gittin tells us this Rasha took a Zaina, and he went to the holiest place. He'd see a Sefer Torah, and he spread out a Sefer Torah. We're all Aveira, he was even Aveira. The Natal Sahif, and the Rasha took a sword, the Gider as a Paraichas, and he stabbed the Paraichas. The Nasanes, and a miracle happened. A miracle in Russia doesn't warrant a miracle. A miracle is clarity. A miracle is kesher. A miracle is honest. A miracle is real. Somebody who lives faith doesn't have nisim. Is not shaykh to nisim. Wouldn't even see a nes. There's no nisim in him. The nas and nes, which Titus says, was for us. But nas and nes, what he thought was for him. Well, Yadam Mivatzves, the Yotzer. And blood started pouring out of the Paraichas. Because Saber, he thought, Haragas Atzmai. He thought he was successful, it's true. He thought that which he taunted, that which he said, that Hashem removed himself. That the dam was a validation to what he thought. The dam came from the Paraichas, it's true, Hashem has left us. Titus thought it was true, his claims were true. Hashem and his people are separated. Titus Russia thought it's true. And of course, he has no understanding of pneumus, of truth, of honesty, of reality. He has a chitzoniistic view, but he doesn't know Titus. He's not shy of Titus. And what's the purpose of such an ace? Why would the Russia stab the Paraichas, this taunter, this murderer of Yidden, this Russia, why would it be this enemy of our people, the nation of Hashem, the enemy of Hashem? Why would it dam, why would blood pour out of the Paraichas? But of course, the deeper thing that the Yid always learns and understands amidst difficulty, amidst what the guy sees as, you've been rejected, the Yid always understands Hashem wants us and is into us and is working with us. And the real aymek of the dam pouring out, the dam that mivatzvates from the Paraichas, is that it's kashalai, the loss of the Beis HaMikdash. The blood pours out, is Hashem saying, I want Mikdash, which translated in English means he wants us. The dam pouring out is the hepich of what Titus thought. The dam pouring out is kashalai, this is shver for me. I want you Mikdash. We still see the dam mivatzves. Titus is gone and we still study. We still watch, and history has been full of the dam mivatzves from the Paraichas. Blood was pouring out of the Paraichas. Kashalai, it's hard for me to lose the Mikdash. I want to live amongst you. I want you, you're my people. We still feel it and experience it. and yearn for our place but still have our relationship. The Dam Mivatzves was an announcement. I love you. I want you forever. Kashalai, swear to me. I want you. You're my people. It was a message to Klal Yisrael that lives with us today. Famously, the Pandit Rav, he asked his driver, he was in Rome, and he asked them to bring him to the Arch of Titus. He was a busy man, a warrior for Hashem, a warrior for Torah. The Pandit Rav, he traveled the world. He lived in Farakwe for a little bit. He traveled the world for Torah, for Hashem, for Yidden, the warrior. And he asked, his driver, could you please bring me to the Arch of Titus? His driver was surprised. He wasn't such like a touristy type. He was running to Yidden, raising money for Torah, building Yidden. Aleinu Lahakim, he was answering the call of Yeshio. He wasn't running around to arches. And he asked, could he see the Arch of Titus? Of course, everything in the world is holy. And the studier of Torah knew it, so the driver was curious what holiness was there. And the Pandit Rav goes under the Arch of Titus. He shouts up at Titus, Titus, Bibistu. Where are you, Titus? We are here. Where are you? Yes, we have a tzor chasubai. We trust in Hashem, Yisarak. He is with us and we are with him. Where are you, Titus? The cry of every year, Titus mocks and says, Ayeh Elihema, and the answer is he's with us. And the dam that's mivatzves that you think proves, the sugyas and the chorbanos that you think prove the losses, and certainly it's difficult, but there's still Yidden saying, Lama lenesach tishkachenu. We want you, Hashem, and we know you want us. Why does it have to feel any different? Why do you take away people from us that are building and it feels like we've lost? But we're also aware that the dam mivatzves, that all the difficulties, and the dam that pours out is kasha. Hashem says, I want you, and we feel it, and we profoundly know that Hashem wants us. So that's the beginning of this Kinnah Tes Zayin. The end of the Kinnah relates the story of 400 children who are being led. The end of the same Kinnah speaks about a story that the Gemara in Gittin says. I'll read the story, but I want to read the story after that. The Gemara in Gittin says there are two stories. This Kinnah speaks about the first story. It speaks about Yidden always, the care of Hashem. The Yid who's close to Hashem under all conditions, Mikadashim Shemayim. Gemara in Gittin and Zayin on the base. Ma'aseh b'dalad meis yilad yilad. So the stuff of the Kinnah is referring to this story. The Mitzvah says that we've had our history is full of being loyal to Hashem. With the Am Hashem, we're loyalists. So this story could be this story, it could be a different story. Also, it's actually the story of our people. Our sons and daughters are loyalists to Hashem. This could be this Kinnah, it could be a story that happened yesterday, 1,000 years ago. It's just the story of the Am Hashem. So they were David Meis, Yoladim Yoladim, Shemishpu L'Kloim. They were captured to do affairs. The guy always was mishtaiming from a Yid. Goyim knew what precious Yid, because Goyim are tzelem alikim, they see truth. So they captured Yiddish children. They wanted the beauty of Yidden, the preciousness of Yidden. They were mishtaiming. They wanted to do affairs. Hirgishu ba'atzman, the girls understood lama heim mivakshin, why they were being brought to Rome. Amru, they asked the boys, Anu toiv bayam, anu boyim l'chayim l'magah. The Yid who's always thinking about Hashem and eternity. We're b'nei l'magah. We're eternal people thinking about eternity. Do we go to Olam Haba? Is it doch mutter? Is it mutter? Could we? There's big shaylos in the place. There's a lot of grade, much time. Will we go to Olam Haba? Darish Lamagadol Shvem, the oldest one, Darshan is amidst this difficult situation. They're learning Torah and figuring out what the root to what's right is, what the eternal move is. And he brings the pasuk Hashem Yibashim Ashiv, Ashiv Mitzulas Yom. He brings a pasuk that Hashem will bring to Kriyas HaMesim from the depths of the sea. When the girls heard that the right move is to jump in, that Hashem will bring them the Lishayach to Tchias HaMesim, Toivim Abba, Kavsu Kulam, all the girls jumped into the water, enough in Seich HaYam. They drowned themselves. Nasim Yoladim Kabachai Batzman, the boys made a Kabachai Amru. Ma'alalu Shadarkum. The girls, what they're being brought to Aferis. So at least the dark of the kach. Anu shein darkein of kach la'as kam kam. Afim kaflu sechayam aleim akasvan galech arag l'kolayoy. Nechshav nekatzankim. So that's the story of the end of this kina that we're going to read. I'll just quickly say the Gemara then brings the story of Hannah and her 7 sons. There's much to learn and study in that story. Each child gives up their life quoting a different pasuk. Every year there's a different pasuk. She's zeicha that all her children are so righteous and God-fearing. And Erlich, because they all quote a different pasuk in saying why they give up their lives and they're not going to be able to have a deserve. Understand that each of our children has a different pasuk they have to hear. We're all rooted in different psukim. Every year there's a different pasuk, not the same pasuk. The pasuk that inspires this one, you won't inspire them. You all have different psukim. So they all give up their lives, all of Hannah and her 7 sons. She sends a message, her youngest son, before he dies. She says to the Caesar, Yav Yamili, please give me my youngest son. The Anshike Port, I want to kiss him a little bit before he goes. And the Caesar allows it, thinking that she's going to try to convince him to be able to have a desire. Amrullah, she says to her youngest son, B'ni, my son, tell Avram your father. It's interesting, she doesn't say our father, she says your father. She was mechanech, each of you have your own unique kesher. Go tell Avram your father, your personal tata. Go tell Avram your father, Ata kadeta mizbeach echad, you did one akeda. Ani akadti shiva mizbechais. I did 7. Go tell Avram Avinu that I'm bigger than him. He brought 1 akeda, I'm bringing 7. Reb Shach, the Panovich Rosh Shiva, was surprised what she's saying. Go tell your tata Avram, he brought, as for showing there was no gaiva. There was no gaiva. What she's saying to Avram Avinu, Magen Avram, what is it a tata? What she's saying, you did 1, we did 7. In yeshiva, guys who learned in yeshiva in past years, they'll hear recordings back that it's the best year. And in a chitzoniistic way, the guy says, what do you mean, it's better than our year? Right from Pnimi, everybody understands that if the year after you was the best year, then you did it, then that's all from you, that's from you. Avram Avinu, she was saying to Avram, that we're carrying what you gave us. We're carrying. Of course, if you stand on Avram Avinu's shoulders, you're taller than Avram. Rav Shach explained, she was telling her tata Avram, we're shaykh to you. And we're carrying and carrying further and bringing it to different places. And that's the message she sent to Avram Avinu, that we're connected amidst darkness, amidst difficulty, we're connected to Avram. We read this kiddo. Yes, I
You'll fix this once he sits down. No, just do it.
sure I'm in good company when I express that. When you read the words, what we have written in the Kines. So generally on Tisha B'Av we have the sense that we Eden years ago, maybe as recently as 70 years ago or less, what do we, and then, Yidden are Yidden, so we never saw them, but Al Beis Yisrael Am Hashem Kinaf B'Charev, and Kesulais B'Churei Hochu B'Shavi. Okay, so we try, we connect. I think I'm in good company to express that this year has so much more, unfortunately, has so much more meaning. We say Beis Yisrael Naflu B'Charev Hochu B'Shavi. The whole groups, hundreds of Yidden, since the past Tisha B'Av has a new meaning. So it's more meaningful. So we cry. It's much more impactful. It's words that refer to what we ourselves have seen. And in this Kinah, the Kinah Chaval of our Zalman and Adir HaTorah, so we have the tragedies of the great tzaddikim, the great leaders of Klal Yisrael, and we find tremendous expression of turning Hashem with the great leaders of Klal Yisrael, Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Akiva, Yehuda ben Baba, that they cried on what they witnessed, on what occurred to them. And it seems kind of, I always understood it like a Hasiris, like here you see how much even the very greatest are subject in Gullus to such torment, to such terrible fate. All right. But I think there's something that has to be understood when we mourn, when we understand, when when we feel, when we cry, there has to be an understanding as follows. Spiro writes in one of his most recent books about one of the tzaddikim one of the most impactful mashpiyim of our dar, of Avram Mordechai Shlita, who is one of the, he's a Hasidic Yid who has many drushes in Yiddish, and he can impact his very dynamic, beautiful Yid that has tremendous kayach of impacting others. He says over the following very personal story that's really very relevant to the lesson for all of us. I think it's extremely relevant to today and to everyone here, all of us. Rabbi March's father, Pinchas Menachem, was a Ger Chassid who experienced the Gehenna of Siberia some 80 years ago or so. Ultimately, made his way to Eretz Yisrael, married, started a beautiful family, and Pinchas Menachem was living in Eretz Yisrael. Unfortunately, his wife became terribly sick and experienced terribly long, contracted and terrible illness. There were and there were several children, 7 children, whatever. And the family felt that for the youngest child, for the younger children or the youngest children, there was a 5-year-old Yarmul who the family would send away to a relative on a very regular basis. He would spend time there, and as we can understand, the concerned relative was very caring under the difficult circumstances to this child, but children have an intuition and children understand things even when they don't fully comprehend, even when their reaction is not complete. Uncle always made it a point to say goodnight. His mommy would say, Mama, every time he would go for the night to his aunt's home, he always made certain to say, to bid farewell and say goodnight, because he had some sort of intuition. And the dreaded day came where the Pinchas Menachem's Rebbetzin left this world. And the pain of losing, of little children losing a parent, of experiencing such loss, and what do you do with the little children? What do you say? How do you accustom them? What's the right way? Do you say it straight out? We have chaverim, we have among us, we have those that have that unique, painful experience where they lose a mama, lose a tata. We have chaverim, we have those among us that never have experienced that loss. And they sent Yankel away for that day. The decision was made that he's too young, he wouldn't partake in Olavaya. We saw the Rebbe mentioned Ray Oberland as a Colonel Brach, who I don't know if we had, for those who know, I don't know, did we ever encounter someone more fatherly, more of a connected and present father than Rebbe Oberlander? I don't know why I neglected to say when I was Maspid, something that I think I'll never forget. I don't think anyone who was there will ever forget. This goes back maybe 10 years ago. Maybe some of you here will remember. I'll never forget how it was on Yom Kippur, after Kol Nidre. So Rebbe Oberlander got up in his kippur on his talus. He looked out at all of us and he said, I feel like I'm speaking to my children in the minute in our Yom Kippur. His parents give their children a bracha. He proceeded to say the bracha of Yirecha Hashem, Yishrecha, and the whole nusach, the yiratzim that parents give to their children on every Yom Kippur. So he has someone, such a devoted father, such a present father, his children, and now he's taken. What do you say? What do you do? Our friends, the day comes where the father's gone. We have our friends, young men and their teenagers, just bar mitzvah, Moshe, Yosef, Akiva, the girls. What do you say? What do you do? See you cry. And so you have Yankel over here, who was sent away on that fateful day. It was Yud Daled of 1970. And he wasn't part of his relative, the relatives looked after him, and then he came home following the Levaya. And he started to look for his mama. He started to say he wanted to have his nightly routine where he says goodnight to his mama. And he's going room to room, he's looking, where's mama, where's mama? And as people start trying to distract him, trying to, what do you say, what do you do? The little 5-year-old, the little Yisrael, what do you do? And as people are trying, as well-intending siblings and relatives are trying to distract you, trying to drive his cries get more desperate and more frustrated and more passionate. Mama, mama, where are you, mama, mama? And he's screaming and he's crying, and all of a sudden it's Tisha all over again. After the Levi, after things calm somewhat, all the siblings break out and start crying. And finally, someone picks up the hysterical child and brings him, his aunt brings him to the relative that he's been staying by. When things calm down somewhat, Rabbi Martin comes over. So they sit down to Shiva, and Yankel's older sister, who's just a few years older, a little girl, turns to her father, finds a calm, quiet moment, and says, Tata, is there such a thing as Tchias? Yeah. Rabbi, there's such a thing as Tchias Hameis. You daven for it every day? Yeah. Can you please explain to me, how could it be a little child, an innocent child, a little child's crying and screaming, Mama, Mama, where are you, Mama? Why, how could it be that it's not Ma'ir, the Rachamim? How could it be that it wasn't Ma'ir and Shemayim? That there should be a Tchias Hameisim, little child crying, Mama, Mama, calling for his mama. Why would Hashem not have Rachmanis? Why would it be? How could it be? Menachem was a very Heilige Yid, a devout, a Ger Chassid, who also was very connected to the teachings of the Vardik, very the Amunah, the Chayos Halos, the Vardik, the Talmud of the Vardik, the Ger Chassid, which wasn't uncommon. And he turns to Ticha, he says, I don't know. I have no idea. Today's condition. How do I know? But one thing I want to tell you when I talk to you. We don't cry for nothing. The main stas Davister, after them trennen in the garbage, all right? I think Hashem just throws them away in the garbage. No cry goes unanswered, no cries for nothing. Slowly the years pass. Pinchas Menachem remarries. They have two children. One of them was this Rabbi Mordechai who's telling over the story. So Rabbi Mordechai is a half brother of this Yankel from the first marriage. Let's fast forward. Yankel's in Shluchim. Normally, by Chassidim, she doesn't happen very young for whatever reason. Took a little longer, but ultimately he found a wonderful. He married into a wonderful mishpacha. And he starts a family of his own. early on in his marriage, he has, comes the day of Yud Daled Av, and he, in advance of the yard site, Tisha, whatever it was, he says, whatever yard site was a milestone yard site, whatever, he says to his Rebbetzin, we're gonna get together, my siblings and I were getting together for the yard site of my mother. And she says, she expressed to him, so, I thought that we were gonna do something special, it's my birthday. And he knew about that before, but something struck in Yankel's mind, so interesting. My wife has a birthday on the yard site of my mother. And then she said, okay, so good, so we'll do it a different day. It doesn't have to be a yard site, can't be pushed off. Birthday, we'll celebrate, we'll observe whatever, we'll do something special the day after. Then Yankel realizes that it hit him that this was not, that his Rebbetzin was not born on the yard site of his mother. She was born the day of her Keteria, on the same day. Quickly he phones his sister Yocheved, tells her what he just noticed, what suddenly came to him. And Yocheved recalled, she reminded him of that day, of how he was screaming and crying, a little 5-year-old pencil, a little kid, was screaming, Mama, Mama. Bibis was screaming out to no one in particular, just crying. And she remembered that day. And she remembered how she went to her father, where her father told him to Veinish Tagarnish. Yocheved asks Yankel, maybe you have a copy of your wife's birth certificate? They found that the time that the Yankel's Rebbetzin was born was the exact hour that Yankel was screaming and crying. The crying about which his father, Pinchas had said, Veinish Tagarnish. Our cries are not thrown away. Our tears are not thrown away. We say about Rebbeinu Shalom every single year in the Slichus, as well as by the Ilah, the Shemea Kol B'chiyos, Veinish Tagarnish. I thought it's a huge chizuk. Usually it's not that way. We don't have the answers. We're not in this world, in this life to see this great tzaddik, Pinchas Menachem, said that, expressed to us how we see in the Veinish Tagarnish that everything that we go through, every difficulty, and every cry, and every crest, the Veinish Tagarnish. There's a Pa'ula, and there's always the Yeshuva Reikam. It doesn't come, it's not for nothing. It doesn't come back empty, and it's pile something. What? We don't know. Usually we don't see. But it's pile something, and it's a huge chizuk, I think. So in the Kina that we say, all the terrible tragedies that befell the very greatest of our tzaddikim, which is really who we are. It's really the neshama of the Yid. It's really what we're all connected to. The tragedies of our very greatest were not for nothing. The tears of our great tzaddikim were not for nothing. And our own tzaras, and our own difficulties, and our own crying, and our own pain is not for nothing. The Veinish Tagarnish is something to be mindful of, to have in mind, to understand, to appreciate. The Shemea Kol B'chiyos never doesn't answer, there's never no response to Veinish Tagarnish. We don't cry for nothing.
Chafal, Ars, Yalla, One, Isaiah, Another tracing mission, the next Kenna we're going to read is Kenna Chaf Gimel. And Kenna Chaf Gimel has the story of Ben Bas, Rabbi Shmuel, that these two, Rabbi Shmuel Kohen Gadol, son and daughter, the Gemara in Gittin relates the story, that they were taken into captive. And the Rabbanim both grabbed each other, both of their bosses, both of their masters. One was an Eved, one was a Shifcha, son and daughter. And their masters grabbed each other, an Eved Sheiki Yafya and Chol and her master bragged, I am the Shifcha Sheiki Yafya and Chol. And they decided to make a deal, let's marry them off together, and we'll share the children. And the Gemara says that they put them in a room together. They put them in a dark room together, that they should live together. And the Gemara tells us that the Ben of Yishmael Kohen Gadol sat in a corner, and he said in the Lashon of the Kinnan, Min Aaron, a descendant of Aaron, Eich l'shivcha yeinoisei, how can I marry a shivcha? He knew who he was. He didn't say it's Asr, though it's an Isser Chamer. According to many Rishonim of Tisha, it's an Isser Chamer, it's Asr to marry a shivcha. He didn't say it's Asr to marry a shivcha, that's not what he said. He said a Nin Aaron, I'm going to marry a shivcha. You can't do sign. It can't be I'm going to marry a shivcha. The gan he tiyalo, she was crying also, the tigrasu shoisas. Bas yoichevet eich le'ebed tinase. She didn't say it's usher to marry an ebed, though it's an isser chomer. But she said, Bas yoichevet, I know who I am. I'm so honorable, how can I marry an ebed? And that's how it went. That's how it went until the morning. Lashon HaGemara. The Lashon HaGemara in the morning. Bachu kol halayla, they cried the whole night. Kivan she'Allah Amid HaShachar. They were crying at night. When the Amid HaShachar, when the morning came, Ikiru Zeseh, they recognized each other. The Naful Zel Zen, they fell on each other. The Go B'Bechiyah, and a new Bechiyah came. Ad she'Yasan Ishmasam, and this Bechiyah killed them. Until they were nifter, and Yirmiyah cried and said on them, ask anybody who learns this Gemara, what was the new Bechiyah of the Amid HaShachar? This may be this morning, maybe the main thing I want to say to the Chevra, this Ben Yoyada. What was the new Bechiyah in Amid HaShachar? The ganze Nacht they were crying, a difficult Shver Galus. A Yid in a compromised position. A Yid facing fake connection. A Yid who craves authentic connection. A Ben Aaron, a Bas Yocheved, a Yid. A Dohaibin, a Yid who wants beautiful connection. And is faced with a connection that's off. Ben Aaron, how can I marry a connection? Facing wrong connections, imitations, cheap stuff. And the Yid cries the whole night, I understand the B'chiyah B'alayla. But in the morning they see each other. Shvester, breeder, sister and brother. And a new B'chiyah emerges. Go B'chiyah, some deep cry comes, and Yatsa Nishmasam. Now, Yatsa Nishmasam, Kipshuta, you can mean they were nifter, but Yatsa Nishmasam means the Neshama came out. And the Ben Yoyada says something incredible, Rabbi said. What's the Bechiyah of the morning? Says the Ben Yoyada, the new Bechiyah is they were crying that they called another Yid a Shifcha. And they called another Yid an Eved. Niflo. The Ben Yoyada says there was a new Bechiyah. That in the Shverkeit of the night, I thought a Yid was a Shifcha. That was a different Bechiyah. That was a whole different Bechiyah. That I said on another Yid is a Shifcha. That's the Shverest part of Golus. Amid HaShachar, there was clarity setting in. And I said on another Yid, they vain, they cried, Achayotcha Nishmasam. That mamish, that Bechiyah brought out the Nishmas Yisro. I said on another Yid, they're a Shifcha. How could that be? What a Shver Golus. Yotza Nishmasam, the Neshamas came to fruition. The Neshamas came out. I said on another Yid that she's a Shifcha. I said on another Yid, he's an Eved, he's not a Yid. What a Shver darkness. And the Biker, the Amid HaShachar is when the Yid says and sees another Yid. Says, whoa, I said on you, you're a Shifcha, go b'bchiyah. Azah Shver Avein, and what a new cry that he called somebody else a Shifcha, he called a Yid. That's the Ben Yoyada Yankim says on this Gemara. That they go b'bchiyahs, that they call the Yid a Shifra. We're in a matzav, our people. We sit here, this Tisha B'Av, and Klal Yisrael's in a matzav. We have brothers, holy Yidden, descendants of Aaron, Rav Ezi Shlita, when he spoke, he spoke now, but he spoke when he read Eicha. And we read about the Shevi, the captives, and we thought about our captives, Yidden in a difficult situation. But the deepest part of Golus is we call another Yid, we don't see another Yid, that's Shvera darkness. Go b'b'chiyah, there's a whole b'chiyah on that in the Shvera darkness, they recognize themselves. It's a madrigal. And then in recognizing ourselves, who we are, we have to see another Yid and see who he is. Yid, a precious Yid, it should be borrowed. That it wasn't even clear to them, that's a shvera goes, go b'chiyah. And that go b'chiyah brings out the neshama. That b'chiyah when we have. Sometimes a shvera darkness makes us see another Yid and we see a shivchan in heaven. Go b'chiyah. On that we cry. On that is a new type of cry. But when we cry on that, the neshama comes out. That brings out our own godless and the godless of somebody else. To see our own preciousness. There's a matzav in Am Yisrael. It's us. It's all by us. It's all by us. Our brothers, ourselves, our nishmas Yisrael are fighting. Our neshamas are removed from their homes. Many Yidden and Kalish, 100,000 Yidden displaced their home. Hell, us, it's all us and all precious. And the chayshech, the darkness, there's darkness, but we're not gonna, there's darkness and Yid being held in dark place. But Omer HaShachar is coming, the rays of the light are coming that we're able to see. We have the light is getting brighter already, the neshamas are coming out already. Because we're starting to see and understand that our job and the task accepting the Omer HaShachar, the task is to see each other, to see, chas v'shalom, to write off another Yid, chas v'shalom, to see a Yid as anything but a Yid Aaron, anything but a Ben Avram, anything but a Ben Hashem, a Ben Melech. Kinachaf Gimel, that's not it,
Vai Unanswered, Chalkam B'Tayim V'Vada, Iskimai Kaichlei Shemai, Hashem Azais Titzal Ma'asnai, Zeich Azais Esmada, Yafrima V'Oima, Iskimai Azais Shnei B'Yachad, L'Arab S'Midin, Cheder Echad V'Adaynim V'Chotz D'Bam Yachad, V'Yachid, B'Mai Nefesh V'Achad, V'Yachid V'Yachid V'Yachid, Yo Imam, as I used to feel it here lately, in Aaron, English, I said, I'm here to yell at the Simas Tracer, but we have an Echlevatina say, I, she's ice gather, I'm a real still as I see to Ashis of the Kima, our bikers, Zeki, Kira, hi, Nagi, Bahaya, Sikiru. Davi Yachav Eschabalu, Ayasai Shikasa, Shia, Seirasai Sabrani Vaychia, Tovavi Yikadi Koidu Vaychia, Avenu Bas Misri Lava Rima, Orange Sikhi Gaima, Kali Arima.
Kalish mentioned the tzara that happened on October 7th, and he pointed out that it was the day that we were saying Hallel. So it reminds me of a different tzara that happened in our family 17 years ago that I'd like to share and discuss a few points. My wife was the oldest of 8 children, and she had a younger brother who had many struggles in this world. And when he was 19 years old, he was nifter. And the way that he was nifter is they found him on the first morning of Sukkot. The first day of Sukkot, they found him no longer alive in his bed. My father-in-law, who's a doctor, at about Tefillah, was in the shul, and he was in the middle of saying Hallel. And one of my wife's sisters, ran to shul to tell her father to run home. They didn't know what was going on. He had 2 younger sisters. This boy that was nifter, he was 19. He had a sister that was 17 and a sister that was 15. So the 15-year-old, not knowing that he wasn't alive, was doing CPR on him to try to revive him. The 17-year-old ran to shul to get her father, who was a doctor, but obviously it was too late. And when somebody is nifter on a chag, so the shiva really starts after Yantif. So they had a not real shiva, but obviously a tragedy the whole week of Sukkot, and then the shiva started right after Yantif. The shiva started the week afterwards, and the way it worked out is that a different sister of my wife's was actually a kala, and they were getting up from shiva Sunday morning, and the chasana was on Sunday. So if the tragedy itself wasn't enough, mamish was a bahala and a shvacha, the tira, a sudden tira, and there was a chasana that had to be taking place right after they get up from shiva. So the family was sitting with one of the rabbanim, Rabbi Titus. So they were discussing, should they push up the chasana, what should they do? It's not the way a kala really wants to go to the chuppah. No one was in the zone of going to a chasana after the shiva. So Rabbi would said to them that if the chassan and kala are okay going through with the chasana, they absolutely should. It's an Indian not to push up a chasana. And he said this is what Klal Yisrael is. Klal Yisrael went through the Holocaust, where we know what happened in the Holocaust, and afterwards in the DP camps, people getting married. Klal Yisrael gets smashed down to the ground, and right away they get back up. That's the nature of the Yid. They go through a tragedy, and they pick themselves up right away. That's a lesson that has to be taught. We see it on Tisha here in a few minutes. We get up, we're sitting down on the floor, and then we get up and we sing, and it's more the avira changes from the sorrow to the hope, to the hope that the rich and things will be better. That's what he said. That's what the Yid has to always do. That whatever tzara he finds himself in, that he just picks up and he moves on. He doesn't ignore the tzara. As we know, if we work with the tzara and take the tzara with us, but we move on to other things. So he said, if at all possible, go to the chasana. And that's what they did. Obviously, it was an emotionally charged chasana, but they had the chasana. This kala got up from shiva in the morning and got married that night. So that was a real difficult period. We've been coming to Sulam every year that Sulam has existed, and there hasn't been a summer that my wife didn't bring up at least one time when she sees the chevra. What would have been with my brother if Camp Sulam and Durham was around in those days? It was 17 years ago. It was before this whole matzah began, and it's something that any human being can't not think about, like the what ifs. So obviously, I know my wife knows that that's what Hashem wanted, so we're not really allowed to ask that, but it's a healthy thing to discuss. Are we allowed to discuss what would have been, would have things have turned out differently if he would have had this matzah around him? He found himself in very difficult situations. It wasn't geared towards his struggles, and what happened is what happened. But what would have been if there would have been a matzah that he would have gotten the chizuk that's given over here in Sulam and in Durham, if there would have been a matzah like that? And I think that this is a question that people ask about every tzara that they have or any struggle that they have. A person who wants to learn and he can't focus for more than 5 minutes and sees the other guy learning for 4 hours straight. Well, why did Hashem make it that I can't concentrate? I just want to learn. What if I would be able to learn? So there's many questions that we have that we might ask, we might not ask, they might be brewing inside. And there are really no answers to that question except that HaKadosh Baruch Hu runs the world, and Hashem gave everyone their exact journey that they have to go on and their struggles that they have to work with. And the person who can't concentrate for 5 minutes, he pushes himself for 6 minutes and he learns. So that Hashem's eyes, that's pashut, that it's at least or maybe more pashut than the person who's sitting and learning for 4 hours. Hashem wants us to try to overcome and to work with the struggles that He gave us. That's our avodah, not to be thinking, what would have been if I didn't have this struggle? What would have been? This Kala was thinking, what would have been if my chasana could have been normal? I just wanted to get married. I was all excited to get married, all my friends. Yeah, I'm going from my shiva, going straight to the chasana hall. I'm not interested in the makeup, I'm not interested in the whole chasana. But she went through with it. So we just read the Arve Halavonim, which is our Sarah Haruga Malchus. We really discussed it on Yom Kippur as well. It's a little more lengthy on Yom Kippur. And there's a line there that's very striking, and there's a beautiful pshat, which gives, I think, a lot of physics. It says that one of the Malachim said, when one of the Asara Haruga Malchus was being killed, being tortured, he said, Zu Torah, Zu Schara. This is the Torah, this is the sky, this person who devotes his life to Torah, this is what happens to him, this is Zen, this is what you get from learning Torah. And Hashem says, another word out of your mouth, and I'm going to return the world to nothingness. The Soh Vavo, I'm going to destroy the world. So the first that's a little bit of a harsh response from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You can destroy the world. Someone's asking a kasha. So they say the pshat is that Hashem was not saying, I'm going to destroy the world. Hashem says, if you want to understand my judgment and why this has to happen, then I have to recreate the world and show you everything from the beginning till the end. The Chavetz Chaim says, a person walks into a shul on a Shabbos, he's a guest, and he sees the giving out the aliyahs. He sees there's a Rav in the front, there's a Rashid in the front, there's a big Talmidei Chacham in the front, and not one of them gets pulled up for an aliyah. And random people in the crowd, a little 14-year-old boy gets an aliyah, an Amoras gets an aliyah. He goes over to the Gavei afterwards, he's fuming. He says, I don't understand, like coming to the shul, you have all these Talmidei Chacham, these Tashurim in the front, and not one of them gets an aliyah. And the Gavei says, you fool. Last week was Rosh Hashanah. All the Mizrach plant, they all got aliyahs in Rosh Hashanah. Now it's after Rosh Hashanah, so now everyone else gets aliyahs. Don't come for one Shabbos and ask questions. This time has been very powerful for me in recent years. Because myself and Rabbi Kalish, we moved to Waterbury 24 years ago when the yeshiva started. Rabbi Brownstein came shortly afterwards. And the yeshiva, the community, have gone through a lot of different stages. And a lot of people have moved in since then. We moved in with 10 families, now there's over 350 families. And a few times already in recent years, I'm sitting there minding my own business and I overhear a conversation and they're questioning, like, why is this going on? Why is that going on? Certain things, which myself being there for 24 years and anyone who was there from the beginning knows exactly why those things are happening. And people are like making kindness, like, this is so silly, it's being done this way. And I'm thinking to myself, Mamish, this you fool, if you're there from the beginning, and you know what was going on, you would understand exactly why this is happening. You just showed up 2 years ago. Now you're asking kashas on what happened 16 years ago? That's what Hashem says to us. We have a struggle. Hashem has a world for thousands of years. We're here for a few years. We're here for 120 years. And we're asking kashas on Hashem, why does this person have to be lifter? Why does this person have this struggle? Why do I have to go through this? These are questions that are great questions. But don't tell them the question because we don't know the answer. Hashem has to take apart the world to show us the whole picture. We're just here for a little bit at a time, and Hashem is in control. All we can do is try to deal with what Hashem gave us. Kaval to waste our time on the what ifs. What if I didn't have this struggle? What if I had it easier? What if I would have grown up in Rabbi Kanievsky's house? Then everything would be amazing. But you didn't grow up in Rabbi Kanievsky's house. And you did grow up with your struggles, and you had any tzara that came upon you. Our job is to accept it from Hashem and not to waste time on mourning that we have it, but trying to deal with it, like Rabbi was discussing the whole summer, not to push it away, not to ignore it, not to protest any troubles that we have, but from that place, with the trouble, to try to find our best way to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We're now going to go to Kinel Lamed Aleph.
במצרים b'tzeisim b'mitzrayim. B'tzeisim b'mitzrayim. Ashkim haaretz v'moy sarvoi b'tzeisim b'mitzrayim. Umarek v'ay hadai noy ki yesh el zachonoi b'tzeisim b'mitzrayim. Zebach u'mincha v'shemen hamishcha b'tzeisim b'mitzrayim. B'tzeisim b'Yerushalayim. Chagim b'Shabbat, Zayis u'manesim b'Yais, Zayis b'tzeisim b'mitzrayim. Kaivu ahalim yarvad ahalim b'tzeisim b'mitzrayim. Yoyel shmita b'eretz sheketa b'tzeisim b'mitzrayim. Holiness v'yaroi, yavnei zikaroi, b'tzeisim b'mitzrayim. B'tzeisim b'Yerushalayim. V'v'ili ahalayim v'shevim zikein, b'tzeisim b'mitzrayim. B'tzeisim b'Yerushalayim. Moshe Yereinu Yaron Yacheinu b'tzeisim b'mitzrayim. Na'arach Melchama V'Avena Shama b'tzeisim b'mitzrayim. B'tzeisim b'Yerushalayim. Sidrei Faroichas v'Sidrei Marechas b'tzeisim b'mitzrayim. Aylas v'zvachem v'yishei nichaychem b'tzeisim b'mitzrayim. Arei nikbais lechavai nikbais b'tzeisim b'mitzrayim. Since Hazav v'hamshel v'rahav b'tzeisim b'mitzrayim. Ushvat hanezer v'rafas ha'ezer b'tzeisim b'Yerushalayim. Kedusha v'vuach v'yadai nagera b'tzeisim b'mitzrayim. B'tzeisim b'Yerushalayim. Rina v'shua v'chatzai v'chatzarua b'tzeisim b'mitzrayim. Shochan v'nayra v'chalil v'tayra b'tzeisim b'mitzrayim. Tayra v'skuda chlei ha'chemda b'tzeisim b'mitzrayim. Sasai v'simcha v'syanai v'anacha b'shruvi l'Yerushalayim.
One of the last kenas that we'll say together now is Kena Lamed Daled. And Kena Lamed Daled speaks about the story of Nebuzaradan. who sees the dam of the Navi, that Klal Yisrael, that in our Averis we didn't listen to the words of the Navi, and not being able to stand up to his words of truth, Klal Yisrael did a chet and we killed the Navi. And he sees the dam of the Navi, and on that blood he does many ritzichos on the dam of the Navi. Ultimately, Nebuzaradan, who himself was the one who brought Tzara to Klal Yisrael, but somehow seeing us go through Tzara, Nebuzaradan himself becomes a ger. The Gemara remarkably says on Nebuzaradan that he's a ger tzedek, he's a righteous ger. And remarkably, watching Tzaras of Klal Yisrael brought him to be Megayer. But not just watching Tzaras of Klal Yisrael, he was the giver of the Tzara of Klal Yisrael. It's remarkable. It would be that Russia hiding in Gaza. That Russia underground in Gaza would be Megayer watching the Tzaras of Yidden, and he was the orchestrator, but watching the Tzaras of Yidden brings a guy to Chab. Hashem is working with us. And he's Megayer, he sees the people, he sees the Tzaras and the way Yidden respond to the Tzaras. The way Yidden grow from Tzaras, and he becomes his Megayer and becomes a Ger Tzedek. So let's read that in Olamed Aleph. Lamed Vav, Tzien, Aloysi Shalim, The last kiddush that we'll say together, kiddush mem hey, we follow kiddush mem hey, alei siyayin baleh areha, the minhag Yisrael, and the minhag that as part of our Yisrael we're going to stand up and say responsibly, chazim and mitzvah, chazim and mitzvah. We're going to say this kiddush standing. And it seems rather strange. It's not like you're getting off before singing some happy song. It's a very, very difficult kiddush. A difficult kiddush, and it really follows the theme of the difficult goals and the difficulties that the Yidden have encountered. And the question begs, what's the minhag Yisrael that was standing up to this? We certainly have much to stand up to. What is the minhag of Yisrael are so deep, so powerful, and so true. They just speak the deepest truths. The minhagim reflect all the halacha, and all the yidden the halacha is reflected in the minhag Yisrael. It's like the recipe. Combine the yidden with the halacha and the minhag Yisrael. The yidden gets it. He listens to the kol dvar Hashem, and we're going to stand up for a very sad kiddush, difficult kiddush. But I think what Rabbi Taylor Shluka or Rabbi Shluka both expressed Rabbi, that crying child, Yankov, who's crying and the tears produce his life. The moments he's crying, Hashem created, his Yitzhak created, his wife was born. Rabbi Taylor describes a mishpacha losing a child, a precious child, who had a beautiful smile. I was able to meet and know his precious soul. And this beautiful family getting up from there and going to a chasana. I think there's a very, it's been the theme of this summer, I want to share the following point. Parai makes a gzeira. He tells Yocheved and Miriam that I want you to kill, they're both midwives. Now we know two Russian tzidkaniyos, it's not possible, they're not killing Yidden, it's impossible, they're tzidkaniyos. They're going to die, they're not going to kill Yidden. But he says to them, you're midwives. In pregnancy, the child is vulnerable, and just don't do certain treatments and the Yiddish boys will be killed. And he makes such a gzeira for Miriam, Yocheved and Miriam. They come back to Parai and they tell him that we're sorry we didn't do it. He calls them in, you didn't listen to what I commanded you. And Yocheved and Miriam say to Parai, sorry, you told us that midwives could kill the Jewish children. Nashim are chayoseina. Jewish wives don't need midwives. Yidden don't have midwives. They have children and they have no need for midwives. Chayoseina. And remarkably, Parai, like Shakespeare said, Jewish ladies are midwives and have no need for midwives. And he believes it. What's pshat? The Torah is emes. Every word in the Torah is emes. They told Parai a joke. Jewish ladies, and Paro, like Shuki said, Paro knew the emes of what they're saying. Jewish ladies, and it means Klal Yisrael, it was Nageya the Nashim. It was Nageya the Nashim because they don't call midwives. Yidden are midwives. What expresses in Klal Yisrael produces Nashim that are Chayos. They don't need midwives, Klal Yisrael. What's with our people that we don't need midwives? We have difficult labors. We have many children. The Goyim aren't having so many children. And it says in the Torah, Yidden don't need midwives. Chayos Seinu. What's that statement? That apparently not, because he knows it's true. And he has to come up with a different plan. Yidden don't need midwives. And of course, the secret of labor is that the pain the lady's going through is producing something. Things are happening. We're in good hands. Hashem is leading us and bringing us. We're in good hands in the Golus. We're in good hands in our own Golus Prati Shechol Echad Echad. Each one of us, what we're going through, we're in good hands. Hashem is bringing us. He's leading us. We're exactly the family we need to be in the situations. Hashem is bringing us places. The secret of the midwife is when a lady has pain, if she runs away, any midwife, ask any midwife. They teach an Isha that the pain is producing the child. The lady who ignores the pain is dangerous, runs away, drink it away, the child will have difficulty coming out. The very pain is producing the child. And the tsar and the difficulty, Hashem is working with us. So by Goyim, if there's tsar, they need to hire, they need to pay a few $100, and you bring down somebody who reminds the pain is producing a child. And they teach a person how to feel the pain, how to work the pain to help produce the labor pains, that produce the child, how to produce, that's the chayos. Says Yocheved and Miriam to Parai, you know our people. In Mitzrayim, Kasher Yanu Isai Ken Yifrites. We struggle, we have difficulty. Terrible difficulty, real, schwere difficulty. But it produces something. It produces, you've seen it, Parai. Kasher Yanu Isai Ken Yifrites. The more you've pained us, the greater we become. B'nais Yisrael Chayos Seinu, we don't need the secret of midwives. Parai, we're for Goyim, Yocheved and Miriam say. Our knowledge we share with the Goyim. How to go through pain and produce a child. B'nais Yisrael Chayos Seinu. And we're going to stand up, and the same thing, we were on the floor, feeling and trying to feel and working to feel and going on the floor to apply ourselves to the difficulty. But we're going to stand up and we're going to say the words Kimai Isha B'tzireha, like an Isha in the middle of her birth pangs, and we're going to go through all the tzaras we've been saying, but we're standing up to the fact that we're being led somewhere. We're standing up to the fact that look in this room, the beauty of our people. We're standing up to the fact that there's tzaras, that there's a chasna at night. There's a wailing of a child, but there's a wife being born. Kamai Isha B'tzireha. That the difficulty, there's Hashem's producing something. What we've seen in our people these months, since Simchas Torah, since Shmini Svarim, connect Shmini Atzeres with Tisha B'Av, and Svarim that's connected very powerfully. Shmini Atzeres is after the Chaf Aleph Yoyim. This is after the Chaf Aleph Yoyim. What's that? Shmini Atzeres, they couldn't be further apart. But the Goyim have connected it for us. Our enemies have connected Tisha B'Av and Shmini Atzeres. And the Yisayid of Shmini Atzeres is Hashem is gathering us to this table. Ikfi imi, I want you, come. I want to hug you, I want to be with you. And the tzaras are Hashem, all is the journey bringing us to this table. He's bringing us there. It's a difficult journey to the table. He's bringing us to the table. He's bringing us to Shmini Atzeres. He's bringing us Hashem Kimai Isha B'tzireha. Sometimes we see how the difficulties are Golus Prati, each one of us. Our difficulties we can comprehend where it's bringing us. Sometimes we can't understand, but we have a faith. Our people have an emunah. If we watch our people, anybody witnessing our people since this sees a people that responds differently to difficulty. There's an emunah that deep in the heart of the Yid, Hashem is bringing me something. Like a lady, the pangs of childbirth, difficulty, shmerkai, Hashem is bringing me something. I say, we feel the tsar, we mourn the loss of a beautiful child. We mourn the loss of the him of the mama. And boy, do we feel, our own goes prati. We feel our losses profoundly. We're not a people who pretends. We're people who sit on the floor at Tisha. We feel our losses. Golus prati and golus klali. We feel. Shvera losses. But because we feel, in feeling, in knowing Hashem is bringing me, makes me feel it more. It makes me call out, why does it have to feel like you're forsaking us? Keli, lama azaftani. Why does it have to feel that you left us? Why in the darkness do we have to see a Yid as an Evan and a Yid as a Shifcha? We feel and we call out because we feel, because we understand Hashem's working with us, we stand up. And Hashem answers us with such mouths. We stand up, we hold hands, we sing. So we're going to responsibly say the next hymn, and then we'll make a circle, holding hands, and sing a couple of songs before members.
Amen.
V'som sakem chadureho. at 1:40, we'll put on our tefillin. People will make a bracha on their talis, and you might see everybody on the bracha on their tzitzis. You'll be nice with your tzitzis then. So people will now will make the bracha on talis. Mincha will begin at 1:40. Finish the shot.